Welcome back. You're watching HLN and our continuing coverage of two major stories. We're keeping you updated on the tornado. Unbelievable devastation there as I'm with my friend and colleague Jane Velez-Mitchell. Behind us, though, the other big story, Jodi Arias set to speak 12:30 Eastern. We have it. Jane and I here in Phoenix. We also have our colleague Vinnie Politan, great attorneys Joey Jackson and Esther Panitch. We promised Esther, you can weigh in, Esther. What do you expect today, Esther? Go ahead, dive in.
Well, Mike, I think that Jodi Arias is honoring her word to ask for the death penalty. And you can see in her actions, she is not allowing her defense to put up mitigation, which is her right, which prompted the defense to say, presumably, in their motion to withdraw, we cannot help our client who does not want our help, and we cannot, as in good faith as lawyers, get up and advocate for her death by the state. So instead, they simply do not call any witnesses because they can't advocate for their client. And we'll see what she says in her allocution. I agree with Vinnie, it's probably more of a liocution. But she is boxed in, what Jane said, into what she can say. She cannot admit that she committed first-degree murder and expect any appeal to go through, as weak as her appeal might be. But I think she is trying to do her best to ask for the death penalty. That could be its own version of manipulation, knowing what we've seen in her testimony thus far. But that could also be what she really wishes for and what she might probably say during her allocution.
Here we are in Phoenix, Arizona. Jodi Arias set to speak in the courthouse behind me. 12:30 Eastern. You're not going to miss a moment. Let's bring in our esteemed panel. Vinnie Politan, Esther Panitch, Joey Jackson. Esther, what do you expect?
I think if she's going to stick with her script, she's going to ask for death. And it will be up to the jurors, not so much for Jodi to manipulate them, for what they feel in their heart. Can they impose the death penalty on someone despite the defendant asking for death?
How about that? Jodi Arias' attorney, Kirk Nurmi, coming at the prosecutor, Juan Martinez. You could feel that animosity. By the way, in that courthouse behind me, Kirk Nurmi is going to sit and watch as his client, Jodi Arias, speaks to the jury. You're going to watch that all unfold. Want to bring in Esther Panitch, again, great criminal defense attorney. Esther, how about that fire from Nurmi? Coming at Juan Martinez, basically telling the judge, you've let him do anything he wants in here.
Well, they need to make their motion for mistrial, and that's the basis of it, or at least that's one of the bases. They need to say that Juan Martinez has been intimidating witnesses and threatening them with cross-examination that maybe go beyond the scope or threatening prosecution, depending on what the witness says. I don't know that that's unethical if he could actually prove that the witnesses are lying or get them to admit that they broke the law, but it certainly breeds an environment which is intimidating to witnesses who are literally coming to save the life of Jodi Arias. And so Kirk Nurmi just needs to make his motion for mistrial. I would say, though, that really what is underneath this is that their own client is sabotaging their defense. You heard Kirk Nurmi promise the members of the jury that they would hear from at least two people to speak on behalf of Jodi. And now those two people are not coming forward. My belief, reading between the lines, is that Jodi has called them off and has told her lawyers, do not put up mitigation. I really want to die. Now, whether that is Jodi's own manipulation in her head, because now she thinks it needs to be her idea, so she's in control, or whether she really wants to die. But she is sabotaging her defense's ability to defend her. And if she is telling her lawyers, do not call anyone in mitigation, that is sabotaging her. And that's why, additionally, I believe they made a motion to withdraw. Because if the prosecutor was really just intimidating witnesses, that's a motion for mistrial. That is not the basis of a motion to withdraw, especially at this point.
Esther, are you surprised that that woman right there did not speak in court on Jodi Arias' behalf, on behalf of her daughter?
I am surprised. The mother would be the natural witness to defend the life of her child. And being called off, I think, is Jodi trying to maintain some control. Nobody would fault Sandra Arias for getting up there, and nobody would intimidate or threaten Sandra Arias to get up there and talk about the love she has for her daughter. I believe that she would want to do this, and I believe she's being told by her daughter not to do this. I think that this case is now all about Travis. There is nothing Jodi can say that I think would spare her life. The only way that would come is if a juror looking into their own heart cannot give her the death penalty. And I think if there's a hung juror, It's for that very reason, that juror wants to show her mercy that she did not show Travis Alexander.